You've been there before. You see a woman you're interested in. You build up the courage to say something. Maybe you compliment her. Maybe you try to make her laugh. Maybe you even offer to buy her a drink. But something's off. She smiles politely, then slowly drifts away. Or worse, she says she'll text you back and never does. And you're left wondering, what did I do wrong? Most men don't realize this, but the more you try to chase her, the more she pulls back. It's not your looks. It's not your words. It's your energy. Now imagine this. Same scenario. You walk up to her, calm, composed, zero pressure. You're not seeking approval. You're not begging for attention. You're simply showing up with intention. You look her in the eye and say just one sentence. 12 words. Nothing flashy, but everything shifts. She pauses. Her body language changes. Her tone softens. She leans in. You didn't try to impress her. You didn't fake confidence. You just said the truth without fear. That moment, it's not luck. It's not a trick. It's the result of understanding a deeper dynamic that most men never learn. And here's the wild part. This sentence, it's not complicated. It's not pickup artist nonsense. In fact, once you hear it, you'll probably laugh at how simple it is. But the effect? Life-changing. We'll get to that. But first, let's talk about how I found it, by accident. How I discovered the sentence. It didn't happen in a club. It wasn't on a dating app. And no, I wasn't wearing some tailored suit or flexing in front of a car. It was a normal afternoon. I had just finished grabbing coffee at this quiet spot I used to visit after work. Nothing special. No plan. Just me trying to reset from the chaos of the day. As I waited for my drink, I noticed her. She wasn't flashy. She wasn't loud. But she had presence. The kind that quietly demands attention without even trying. Now, the old version of me? I would have stared for too long, then overthought it until she walked away. But something was different this time. I wasn't there to impress her. I wasn't even in the mood to chase anyone. I just felt calm, clear. So I walked up, no lines prepared, no agenda. I looked her in the eyes and said it. I don't chase, I choose, and I chose to talk to you. That's it. No cheesy punchline. No fake cool guy attitude. Just words, delivered from a place of peace and certainty. And her response? She paused. She smiled, not that fake, polite kind. It was real, like something in her clicked. She leaned in. Wow, no one's ever said that to me before. We talked for 15 minutes. I didn't ask for her number. She offered it before I could. That's when I realized I had stumbled on something powerful. It wasn't just the sentence, it was what it represented. Because most guys operate from fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of not being good enough. Fear of missing their shot. But when you stop chasing and start choosing, everything changes. You shift the energy. You become the prize. And women feel that. Deeply. They sense when you don't need them, and ironically, that's what makes them want to be around you more. That one moment taught me more about attraction than every dating tip, every article, every YouTube hack I'd ever seen. I didn't plan it. I didn't rehearse it. But it worked, because I finally believed something I hadn't before, that I have value. That I can choose. That I don't need to chase. And the sentence? It just gave that belief a voice. So what's behind these 12 words? Why do they flip the entire dynamic without trying? Let's break it down. The sentence, and why it works. So, let's break this down. The sentence you just heard. I don't chase, I choose, and I chose to talk to you. It's more than just words. It's a reflection of a mindset that 99% of men don't have. And that's exactly why it stands out. You see, most guys operate from a place of lack. They walk into a conversation hoping to be picked, validated, chosen. They're constantly trying to impress women, hoping she sees value in them before they see value in themselves. And women can feel that energy immediately. It's like an emotional scent, desperation. But when you flip that, when you stop chasing and start choosing, you instantly separate yourself from the crowd. Let's go deeper. I don't chase. This part stops her in her tracks. Because most guys, they're always chasing. Through texts, compliments, favors, fake personalities, just to be liked. When you say, I don't chase, you're saying, I'm not here to win approval. I know my worth. I don't throw myself at anyone. It's bold. It's rare. And it commands respect. It doesn't mean you're arrogant. It doesn't mean you think you're better than her. It means you're selective, intentional, unattached to outcome. It signals that you're emotionally stable. And that is powerful. Because here's the truth. Emotionally grounded men are scarce, and scarcity creates value. Then comes the second part. I choose. Let that sink in. I choose. That changes everything. Because most men live reactively. They don't decide, they chase what's offered. But by saying, I choose, you shift the power dynamic. Gently, not aggressively. You're not saying, I'm above you. You're saying, I'm present enough to know what I want. It tells her, you're not just someone I stumbled into. I'm here because I saw something in you that caught my interest. And that creates instant connection, without pressure. And finally, the closing line. And I chose to talk to you. This is where it all lands. You've made your intention clear, without being needy. You've expressed interest, without expectation. You've created attraction, without ever asking for it. This isn't flattery. It's honesty, spoken from a place of strength. Because when a man knows his worth, every word hits differently. You're not seeking permission. You're not hoping she likes you. You're already good either way. And that's why it works. It works because most women aren't used to men speaking from that place of certainty and calm confidence. They're used to hearing, can I buy you a drink? Do you have a boyfriend? Would you mind if I joined you? But this sentence, it disrupts the pattern. It grabs her attention without trying too hard. It makes her feel like she's being chosen, not chased. And that subtle shift, it flips the script entirely. Let me tell you something most guys don't understand. Attraction isn't logical. It's emotional. It's not about being the best looking, the richest, or the funniest. It's about how you make her feel in those first few seconds. And when you say this sentence the right way, with a steady voice, strong eye contact, and calm energy, you don't just say words. You transfer emotion. You show her that you're centered, that you're not here to compete, that you're already winning, because your value isn't tied to her response. And whether she smiles, flirts back, or even walks away, it doesn't matter. Because that sentence wasn't about impressing her. It was about expressing you. And that alone is rare. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Can you mess this up? Yes, if you say it from the wrong place. If you say it with arrogance, like you're trying to manipulate her. If you force it out just to sound cool or alpha, she'll feel the energy behind it, and it'll backfire. Because this sentence only works when it comes from genuine self-respect, not ego. You have to mean it. You have to live it. It's not a pickup line. It's a reflection of who you are. So next time you find yourself in a moment with someone you're drawn to, take a breath. Look her in the eye. And if it feels right, say it. I don't chase, I choose, and I chose to talk to you. Then say nothing else. Just let the silence do its work. You'll be surprised by what happens next. Sometimes she'll smile. Sometimes she'll flirt. Sometimes she'll test you. But almost always, she'll remember you. Not because you tried so hard to impress her, but because you didn't need to. So let's go deeper. Why does this sentence, I don't chase, I choose, and I chose to talk to you, work so well on a psychological level? It's not magic. It's not manipulation. It's biology, emotion, and energy. You're not just saying something smooth. You're speaking directly to her instincts. Whether she realizes it or not, a woman is constantly reading your cues. Not just what you say, but how you move, how you look at her, how you carry yourself, your tone, your rhythm, your emotional presence. All of that gets processed in seconds. And it tells her one thing above all else. Are you safe, confident, and in control of yourself, or not? When you say, I don't chase, she instantly knows you're not needy. You're not desperate. You're not trying to fill a hole in your life with her attention. And that matters, because women are biologically wired to avoid emotional instability, neediness, insecurity, approval seeking. All of that screams unreliable, immature, and emotionally unsafe. On the flip side, when you say, I choose, you're flipping that narrative. You're telling her, I'm not waiting around hoping to be picked. I make decisions. I know what I want. That kind of clarity is rare, and that rarity is what gets her attention. Because deep down, women are drawn to men who make them feel grounded. Not just excited, safe. And no, not the boring kind of safe. Not the nice guy who does everything right and still gets ghosted. I'm talking about emotional safety, the kind that comes from a man who's not afraid to be honest, direct, and unfazed by rejection. Let's pause for a moment. Why do women test men? You've probably noticed it. She asks unexpected questions. She gets sarcastic. She delays texting back. Sometimes, she flirts and pulls away. Why? Because she's trying to feel you out. She wants to see if your confidence is real, or if it crumbles the moment she challenges you. It's instinct. It's not that she's trying to play games. It's that her subconscious is saying, "Can I trust this man to be strong, even when things get uncomfortable?" And when you respond with calm energy and firm boundaries, especially through a line like this, you pass the test effortlessly. Think about it this way. Most guys are afraid of rejection. They fear it so much that they give away all their power up front. They chase. They overtext. They overcompliment. They beg to be liked. And ironically, that's exactly what pushes her away. Because if you don't even value your own time and energy, why should she? But when you walk into a conversation with intention, not need, everything shifts. That's what this sentence signals. It says, "I'm here because I want to be, not because I need to be. I see something valuable in you, but I don't lose myself in the process. If it works out, great. If not, I'm still good." And that's the key. When you detach from outcome, you become powerful. You stop performing. You stop second-guessing. You start connecting. And connection, not performance, is what creates real attraction. Let's talk about dominance for a second. Not aggression, not control. I'm talking about calm, centered dominance, the kind that doesn't have to raise its voice to be heard. When you say this sentence with quiet certainty, you're showing emotional dominance. You're proving that your world doesn't revolve around her reaction, that you're not scanning her face for approval, that your identity isn't hanging on a smile, a phone number, or a follow back. And again, women feel that. They feel when a man is still chasing validation from outside, and they feel when he already validates himself from within. One is exhausting, the other, magnetic. So what does all this mean for you? It means that sentence only works when it reflects your inner world. You can't fake it. You have to believe it. You have to live it. You have to embody the mindset before the words ever leave your mouth. Because the words are just a signal. The energy behind them, that's the real message. If you don't chase in life, if you lead with purpose, if you live with direction and integrity, then when you say, "I don't chase, I choose, and I chose to talk to you," it won't come off like a line. It'll feel like the truth. And women can feel truth. They may not be able to explain why, but they always respond to it. So next time you're in that moment, standing in front of her, deciding whether to say something or stay silent, remember this. You don't need to try hard. You don't need to be someone you're not. You just need to show up as the man who chooses, not chases. Speak your truth. Let go of the outcome. And let your energy do the rest. Let's be honest. You've probably said something to a woman before, and it just didn't land. You thought it was charming. You thought it was clever. You thought it would spark her interest. But instead, she gave you a half smile. Or worse, that polite nod, before slowly disappearing into thin air. It stings. And you start thinking, did I say something wrong? Was it my timing? My tone? Maybe. But the truth goes deeper than that. The problem isn't just what most men say. It's why they say it. Most guys approach women from a place of emotional hunger. They feel this invisible pressure to win her over, impress her, or convince her that they're worthy of her attention. And that pressure? It leaks through every word. Let's break down some of the most common things men say and why they fail completely. "Hey, beautiful, can I talk to you for a second?" Sounds harmless, right? But here's the thing. The moment you call her beautiful before even knowing her, you're giving away your power. You're signaling that her looks are enough to make you chase her, and she didn't have to earn a thing. You're leading with flattery instead of value. You're making her the prize before you've even introduced yourself. And while that might sound sweet on the surface, it triggers one thing in her subconscious. Another guy trying too hard. "I'll do anything to make you happy." This one, it's a trap. You think you're showing devotion, loyalty, even love. But what you're really saying is, "I'll lose myself to keep you. I'll bend my identity to fit yours. I need you to validate me." Women don't want a man who loses himself in the process of loving her. They want a man who knows himself so well that she feels safe trusting him. And saying you'll do anything makes you sound replaceable. Because there's no strength in someone who stands for nothing. I know you're out of my league, but this one kills attraction instantly. The moment you place her above you, she feels it. You're literally telling her, "You're better than me, but I hope you'll settle." No woman wants to date down. And you may think saying this shows humility or realism, but it actually signals low self-worth. You're putting her on a pedestal and stepping down from your own throne. Never do that. Because if you don't see your value, neither will she. Can I take you out sometime? This is tricky. On paper, it seems like a confident ask, but tone matters. If you ask this while fidgeting, avoiding eye contact, or sounding unsure, it doesn't feel like leadership. It feels like seeking permission, like you're hoping she says yes to validate you. A better approach? Don't ask. Declare. With calm confidence. Say, I'd like to take you out. You seem like someone worth knowing. Now that's a statement. It shows intent without begging for approval. Here's the big mistake most guys make. They try to impress women into liking them. But attraction isn't earned through performance. It's earned through presence. When you chase approval, when you fumble your words because you're trying to win her over, you lose all your natural power. Because women aren't waiting for a man who begs for her attention. They're drawn to the man who gives his attention as a gift, not a transaction. Now, contrast all of that with this sentence. I don't chase, I choose, and I chose to talk to you. Notice the difference? There's no over-explaining, no flattery, no apology for existing, no attempt to please, just intention, grounded energy, a statement of self-respect. You're not saying it to impress her. You're saying it because it's the truth, and that truth changes everything. Here's something powerful to remember. Women aren't confused by what you say. They're tuned into why you're saying it. They're asking themselves, is this guy grounded or insecure? Is he confident or just acting confident? Does he want me or does he need me to feel valuable? If she senses that you're operating from lack, she'll pull away, no matter how sweet or smooth your words are. But if you speak from overflow, from wholeness, she'll feel drawn in without even understanding why. Because that kind of masculine energy, it's magnetic. So what should you take from this? Drop the rehearsed lines. Stop trying to be perfect. And most importantly, stop chasing. Chasing puts you in a lower frame. Instead, speak from identity. Speak from knowing. Speak from truth. That's what I don't chase, I choose, and I chose to talk to you does. It centers the energy on you. It reminds her that you're not here to prove anything. You're here to share your world and see if she's worthy of joining it. That mindset, that energy, it doesn't just make you attractive. It makes you unforgettable. Let's be honest. Power without control becomes arrogance. And confidence without empathy, that's just ego in disguise. So if you're going to say the line, I don't chase, I choose, and I chose to talk to you, you need to know how to use it without coming off like a jerk. Because trust me, if you get this wrong, it can backfire. Now here's the truth. This sentence isn't just a pickup line. It's a mindset. It works because it radiates intention, not neediness. You're not saying it to impress her. You're saying it because you've already impressed yourself. So how do you deliver it? First, your energy has to match your words. Don't say it with shaky hands or darting eyes. Say it like you mean it, even if you only say it once in your life. That means standing tall, slowing your speech, and looking her in the eyes, not to intimidate, but to connect. The second rule, timing is everything. Don't blurt it out the moment you meet her. Let the tension build. Maybe you've shared a laugh. Maybe you've held eye contact longer than usual. Then, when she least expects it, that's when you say it. Casually, calmly, no fanfare. That's what makes it land. That's what makes it powerful. But here's the real key. You have to detach from the outcome. You don't say this to get her. You say it because it reflects your inner truth. You're not desperate for her number. You're not trying to prove anything. You're choosing to speak, and that alone makes it magnetic. You see, women are unbelievably tuned into energy. If you say something that sounds powerful, but you're coming from a place of insecurity, she'll feel the disconnect. She may not be able to explain it, but something will feel off. So before you ever say that sentence, ask yourself, do I actually believe this? Do I really live like I choose, not chase? Because if you don't, it'll just sound like a lie, and a rehearsed one at that. Let's break it down even further. When you say, I don't chase, you're not saying you don't try. You're saying you're not attached to someone who doesn't value you. You're not afraid to walk away. That is not arrogance, it's self-respect. And when you follow up with I choose, that tells her that you're selective, that you don't just hand out your time, attention, or energy to anyone. It's not about being picky. It's about being intentional. And that makes you different from 99% of guys she meets. Then comes the final part. And I chose to talk to you. This is where the magic happens, because now you've invited her into your world without trying to possess her. You've given her a compliment without begging for her approval. You've made her feel seen, but you haven't made her your entire focus. You've struck the perfect balance between admiration and independence. And guess what? That's incredibly rare. So how do you make sure you never cross the line into arrogance? Simple. Stay grounded. Use this line with a smile, with warmth, with a genuine sense of curiosity about who she is. Because it's not just about the words, it's about the presence behind them. You don't have to lean in and whisper it like a movie scene. You don't need a tuxedo or a Lamborghini. You just need to be real. When you're authentic, you don't need tactics. You just need clarity. Let her feel your energy. Let her feel that you're not attached to impressing her. Let her see that you're unapologetically you, whether she chooses to engage or not. That's the paradox. The less you try to force attraction, the more naturally it happens. And here's a final tip. After you say the sentence, shut up. Let the silence do the work. Don't rush to fill the air. Let her respond. Let her sit with it. Because silence after a powerful truth is louder than 1,000 compliments. So use the line, but don't weaponize it. Don't use it to manipulate. Use it as a mirror, a reflection of the man you've become. A man who chooses. A man who values himself. A man who understands that the most attractive thing you can ever say is something that comes from self-belief, not strategy. When you master that, you'll never need to chase anyone again. You've heard the line. You know the sentence. But here's the truth that most men miss. It was never about the words. It was never about sounding smooth or rehearsed or clever. It's about who you are when you say it. When you say, I don't chase, I choose, and I chose to talk to you, what you're actually doing is showing her that your sense of worth doesn't come from her reaction. Read that again. You're not fishing for approval. You're not trying to get a number or a date or a compliment. You're not trying to win. You've already won, internally. And here's where the power kicks in. When a man no longer needs her, that's when she feels safest around him. Let that sink in. When you're grounded in who you are, when you're whole without her validation, when her presence adds to your peace but doesn't define it, that's when you become magnetic. It's Stoicism in motion. Visual. Man looking in the mirror, slight smirk, adjusts jacket, then walks out into the night. Because while other guys are saying what they think she wants to hear, you're saying what's true to you. And that difference, she feels it. Instantly. She's not attracted to what you say. She's drawn to the energy behind your words. The calm, the clarity, the quiet self-respect that can't be faked. You're not playing a character. You're not running game. You are the game. That's the paradox. When you detach from the outcome, that's when outcomes chase you. When you stop proving, she starts noticing. And that one sentence, it's just the tip of the iceberg. The real power is your presence. So if you ever feel tempted to memorize lines or rehearse tricks, stop. Look inward. Work on your mind, your focus, your values. Because it's not about seduction. It's about alignment. And when you're aligned with your higher self, women naturally want to align with you. Not because you're flawless, but because you're real. Visual. Man sitting alone at sunrise. Birds fly past. Text on screen. When you no longer need her, she feels safest with you. Let every word you say come from stillness, not desperation. Let your silence say more than your speech ever could. And let your peace be the loudest part of you. So let's recap. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to be famous. You don't even need to be conventionally attractive. You just need to know yourself, to own your energy, and to understand that when you say, I don't chase, I choose, and I chose to talk to you, you're expressing truth, not strategy. You're not chasing women. You're choosing connection. And when you live that truth, you won't have to try to attract anyone. They'll feel it. They'll see it. And most importantly, they'll respect it. Visual. Man smiling subtly as he walks away from a conversation. The woman watches him go, half smiling. Voiceover, soft fade in. If this video opened your eyes, drop a like. Subscribe for more content like this. Stoic mindset. Real game, no fluff. And comment below. Have you ever said something like this without even realizing its power? This isn't about manipulation. It's about elevation. Until next time, walk in peace. Speak with purpose. And always choose, never chase.